pornography. And welcome to the new episode of Happy Fun Music Time. I'm here with the co-host Alex Salas and 3 out of 4 members of Moore Ave Underground, or is it Moore Avenue Underground?
No, you got it right the first time. It's Moore Ave.
Too many people say Moore Avenue.
Oh, fair enough. So I'm with Henry. Sorry, no. Yeah, you screwed with me. Jack, Josh, and Joseph from Moore Ave Underground.
Henry.
Why is there no one named Henry in your band? Like, that would make your band so much better if you had a guy named Henry in it.
We'll tell Sean to
we
change
just
his
call
name.
ourselves Black Flag.
Exactly, you could have Henry Rollins doing your vocals for you.
Okay, I'll just step aside then.
He's a tough customer. That's like one guy I wouldn't want to interview is Henry Rollins.
I would love to interview him just to see how much he would yell at me, like how fast it would take him to get mad at me.
He's so smart.
Oh yeah, he's a super intelligent guy, and he's also mellowed out, I think, in recent years from what I've seen. Like, I saw his most recent Nardwar interview, and he's definitely chilled out.
Yeah, they gave him something to relax. So
When we moved to Canada, we legalized pot.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that helps.
So how you guys doing? How's the quarantine treating you? How's the brotherly love?
Well, we're all essential, so it's pretty much like life is normal, minus the fact that we're not playing shows or practicing as
And
much.
that is killing me.
Yeah.
I don't need to play shows.
Yeah, but
That's hitting hard.
it sucks though because the people we have to work with, like the customers we have to work with, are a lot worse than they normally are. Because like 2 of us work in fast food, and it's like you'd think people are nice because everything's going crazy.
Yeah.
But for every like 1 nice person you get 16 extra shitty people.
I firmly believe half of this town doesn't believe that it's a real pandemic.
Yeah.
So when they show up to the window and they're laughing at me because I'm wearing gloves and a mask and I have this like spit screen in front of me, they start shaking their head at me when I have to put a glove on to take their cash. I'm like,
You're just being clean, man. They should appreciate that.
No.
yeah, I'm doing this to save your life.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Real though, a customer pulled up to my window in the drive-thru Friday, and she had her cash that we had just given her in her mouth.
She wanted
What?
like a quick taste, like.
I don't know. She just pulls up and it's still in her mouth, and she's opening her purse like, 1 second. I'm like,
This $5
take
bill
all the
tastes
time
like
you
viruses.
need.
Man.
Maybe she was just trying to hit on you. Like, that's
Yeah,
like
that's
a flirtation tactic, you know?
You want to see me fold this bill with my tongue?
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Do a little origami for you.
Or a gasm.
Or you call origami.
Do origami.
Origami.
Google it, Gary.
Joe gets one good one every day. That's his good one.
And I'm heading out.
He's gone for the night.
Go to bed, Joe. You're done.
So 2 of you guys work at fast food. Where does the other guy work?
I work at in a print shop, Elmer Express.
Okay.
We have like newspaper and printing and bindery. I'm in the bindery department.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And and a question for the fast food guys. I mean, so you said you're seeing a lot more crappy people. Is it a lot of like skip the dishes orders coming in, or is it a lot of drive-through and?
We're in a small town, so we only have drive-through. Like, we don't have skip the dishes or
Oh, okay.
Uber or
We
anything.
don't have.
we don't even have Uber because
Gosh.
there's maybe 5,000 people in the town.
Yeah,
Like,
I still have to walk to McDonald's to get my food. It's horrible.
It's kind of crazy. So, really just people coming in and being dinks because, I don't know, they feel like they have to. Like, we had one guy, so we have to give out a tray for more than a few drinks, and if people don't want one, we got this like tray installed on our window to just set the drinks on if they didn't want like a takeout tray. But before we had that installed, we had people like throwing stuff back at us and garbage out the window because they didn't want it and just being assholes.
God.
They get
Yeah.
that angry about getting like a cardboard tray for the cup.
Yeah.
I had a few
That tray
customers.
turns into a frisbee.
I had a few
ridiculous.
customers look at me and go, "Well, what am I supposed to do with it now?" I'm like, well, wherever you're going, do they have a garbage or recycling bin? Like,
If you put those trays in the fire, they repel mosquitoes. I don't know what it is, man, but just burn it.
I did not know that. That is
Yeah,
I learned
it's
that's
magical.
Save your McDonald's trays.
yeah, I like to learn something every episode. So do you guys work at the same joint then?
Yeah.
yeah, Josh is my manager.
I used to work there. I was there for about 5 years before I got my job at Armor Express.
It was like the best place that you could work at, like when you were in high school, because they're flexible schedules, like
Yeah.
they're really flexible with stuff. And we all played sports throughout high school, so and had like shows and stuff like that, right? So it was easy to
Easy to do that and like your music at the same time.
exactly. And then when I went away to university, and when I came back, like they still let me come back to work every now and then. So when I came back from school, it was just easier to take the promotion, like the management promotion, and kind of work full time there than it was to find something and work my ass off in like a factory.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. And those can be like
So,
super long hours.
yeah. So it was easier to do it. And when we were doing when we're playing shows, I usually get to pick like a weekend that we're party weekend of shows or something like that. And then I usually kind of have to work some other weekends, but it's like, I don't know, it's better than like mandatory overtime where now all of a sudden I have to drop a show last minute or something like that, right?
Oh, true.
Mhm.
Yeah. Even now, like, I'm not a manager, but I'm still a regular crew, so I don't have a lot of the restrictions that Josh has, but I get, like, I can go book off any day as long as I have, like, 2 weeks in advance and I'm within the 5 people, right?
Oh, okay.
Flexible and super great. Like, I'm full-time there right now, but I still get the flexible schedule rules.
Oh, that's solid, man.
I can tell that you guys are close because not only do you play in the same band together, but one of you manages the other in a professional setting, and you haven't murdered each other yet.
Yeah, how is that? Let's explore that dynamic a bit.
When I was still working there, Josh and I had like full-up arguments in the freezer.
Yeah, I try not to do it on the
Screaming at
floor.
each other in the freezer.
I always try not to do it on the floor. That way we don't make anything weird. But like, they tend not to separate the brother aspect from it, which I really try to, and I just try to treat them like every other crew.
Yeah.
So if they do something stupid, I'm like, guys, that was dumb. But then they're like, you're not supposed to do that. Like, you're my brother. I'm like, no, that's not how this works.
They try and pull the card.
I haven't done that since high school.
I never tried to do that.
That's what it feels like sometimes, man.
I understand that thing now.
You guys struck a chord. Okay.
I
Yeah.
didn't want to break up the family. That wasn't my goal in doing this podcast, but an intentional side effect.
You can only imagine how it happens during band practices too.
Oh,
So
man.
like our drummer, who's not our brother, but has been Josh's friend since like grade 3, but
Yeah.
still like he's not related. So when those arguments start happening in the middle of band, he just kind of sits in the corner behind the drum kit and like just plays on his phone until it's over.
Don't forget the odd Family Guy quote, like, high
Oh, yeah.
school.
Oh, he does it like to lighten the mood.
Yeah. He'll slip those in to try to like go, stop arguing,
Can
please.
you stop being dingoes? And then you go, you know what? That's probably a good idea.
Mom and Dad, please stop fighting.
We'll have to interview him after this to see how much you guys have traumatized him.
Oh, he'll probably give you like hours of material, man. That'll be
How many years are between you guys?
2 between each guy. So like I'm the oldest, and I was born in '94. Joe was born in '96, and Jack was born in '98.
Wow. Okay. So we Crosty and I were both born in '94. So
Oh, right.
we immediately take the
Born.
side of the older sibling in this
Thank you.
Yeah,
in this battle.
absolutely.
It's all good. I just kind of sit here in silence. I'm the middle one.
I appreciate it, boys.
So, you guys, you put out a new single, How You've Grown, I believe. That's like the newest song I've heard from you guys.
Yeah, that was the one we put out on
April
the
20th.
420.
Oh, fair enough.
Why did you pick that day?
Well,
We get the most streams.
as a joke. So as a joke, last year we released our EP on 419
Okay.
to kind of like be like, yo, we don't smoke weed and we don't celebrate 420, but here's like an EP that we released, so do this instead. And then this year we said, screw it, let's do it on 420 just because
And your live stream.
it'll be fun. And yeah, every year. So if you've ever, I don't know if you guys smoke at all. but a lot of people like to come through the drive-thru at McDonald's and order a large water, no ice, and they either put the water in their bong or they use that to make like a pisser out of.
Like a mobile piss cup kind of deal.
No, like, do you know what a pisser is?
No, I don't.
I don't know what that is.
I have smoked before, but I've never heard that term.
Okay, it might just be like a small town thing then. It's basically like a makeshift bong with like a cup. Like, it's like a makeshift water bong with like a cup of water and a water bottle, and I don't know. It's really you have to kind of see it. Though.
Yeah. I know what that is. That it's like the water bottle equivalent of like an apple. Like, yeah. It's like an easy way to smoke when you're on the road, I guess. I don't know. Never done it, so whatever. Fair
so
enough.
Everyone always comes in and gets those to do that, and so I started the tradition for the last like 4 or 5 years. I try to chug a large water, that's 32 ounces, no ice, and I have yet to do it. It's really hard because it's super cold and it kills you. And then this year they kind of screwed me over, and because I was being an ass in the drive-thru, they didn't give me the full cup of water. So that was my own fault, I guess.
Oh, that's rough. I thought you were about to tell me you tried to like chug the pisser like after you've used it.
No. Oh God.
How much do you have to get paid to do that?
To chug the pisser?
Yeah.
A couple $100 maybe.
If I can chime in on this question, I'm not gay, but $5 is $5.
So $5. All right.
So chugging pre-used bong water.
Pre-used? No, it would be used.
Sorry.
It wouldn't be
chugging
pre-used.
bong
That would just be already what I was
I've
doing.
seen a guy do it before.
Really?
It's not pretty. He said it tasted kind of like stale chocolate, but like horrible. I think he did it for like $40.
Yeah. I need more money than that.
Fair
So
enough.
you've paid somebody already.
I don't know, but like
No, I was just a witness.
you couldn't get high off that, could you?
I don't think so.
Off the water?
I don't know.
No, because it's just dirty
drinking the
ash
water,
and like mud water.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well then,
I don't think so.
all right. Yeah, a couple $100 I'd do it.
Would that change like your decision to do it if you could get high?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I don't want to ruin my perfect drink.
I don't know. I love drinking, and I don't smoke, so I don't know. It's one of those things where like I don't really want to be high. That makes sense. I don't know. You know what?
This is trailing.
So yeah, back to the single.
Fair enough. So your new single, "How You've Grown," what's it about? Is it about like a plant that you have in your backyard on 420? Is it about morning wood? What is it about?
We
we
had a
sang
version
about Sean's
where we sang
penis
about
before.
Sean getting erect during the song.
Oh, really?
But that's not what it's about.
But that's not what. No.
No, but for real, tell us a bit more about the song.
Okay, so the song is kind of, I wrote it after I got back together with this girl.
Okay.
It was about how she had grown as a human being in the time that we were apart. We were together for about 5 years, off and on, and I wrote a few songs about her
Yeah.
over the course of those 5 years and the few years after that. So yeah, it was just about this girl and how she had gotten better and how she had kind of grown as a person, and
Fair
it was
enough.
like, you know what, I'm gonna try this again. You broke my heart, but whatever, we're gonna go for it. And then, I mean, you know how those stories always end. So
How long did it take to write the track? Is it kind of like a band affair? Are you all in a room writing the song together and then you do the lyrics after, or did you come with a set of lyrics and present it to the guys and the track came together that way?
generally, so I started off writing like as a solo dude. So everything I have, and I've started for the most part, is like just me and an acoustic guitar, so I could sing it and play it by myself. So for the most part, hi Kat. For the most part, the song was already written, and it just needed band stuff. So I would just, guys, hey, like, let's jam this song, and we would just jam, and it would go however it went. And we kind of refine it as we went from there. So
Mm.
for the most part, there's usually a full song in place when I bring it to everybody.
You have like the lyrics and all the progressions down, and then
Yeah,
the rest of the
yeah.
band fills it out with
Yeah.
drum
Mhm.
fills,
Every-
bass
there's
leads.
a few songs we've done that have kind of been an exception to that, but that's
Yeah,
kind
like
of
the next one we're releasing was
Yeah.
was more and more like it just kind of came organically during
Yeah.
the jam session.
exactly, and then I kind of went to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, I'm scrolling through your Bandcamp now. You have it looks like six singles is it on here? Let's see, Last Semester, Red. It's all in my head. So my next question is, how have you guys grown since your first release up until now? I mean, what has changed over the course of these shows of releasing this music?
So, are we talking about like first release, like it's all in my head? How
No, our first release was technically a shitty demo called Lame.
because it was that lame.
And you
Yeah.
probably on the internet, I think.
I think it actually might still be on my SoundCloud.
Oh God.
Don't search that.
We'll make sure to play something off that at the end of the episode.
Ugh,
Yeah, exactly.
so gross.
Well, I know when you listen to Red from that, it's like yeah,
it's like-
and then you listen to Red now, it's
It's probably like 80 beats slower.
yeah, it's so bad.
gross.
Well, it probably wavers between beats per minute while
Yeah.
the recording goes on. Right?
So when we first started playing, we were a three-piece, just the three of us brothers.
Yeah.
Joe played bass, I played guitar and vocals, and Jack played drums, actually. And not that Jack's a bad drummer by any chance, it's just that Sean's a better drummer.
And I never practiced before.
Wait, sorry.
so-
So Jack moved from drums to guitar?
Yeah, I got the
Drums to bass. Drums
Oh,
to
drums to
I-
bass. Okay.
And Joe moved from bass to guitar.
Oh wow. So like everyone kind of shifted over. Okay.
Yeah. So
Everyone's a
basically, what we kind of did was so we started playing just covers a lot, like most people do, and we were more so a cover band, I guess you could kind of say that. And we tried. There wasn't a lot of places to play in town other than like high school stuff.
Yeah.
So we would try to put on shows that everyone could come to, and we did a few fundraisers to try and make that connection where we would host all kinds of local music and also try to raise money for our local food bank.
Where would you do that?
Just in town here, we have a band shell in like a little parkette downtown, and we would just kind of host it outside. We still do it. This is the first year in almost, I think, 9 years that we haven't been able to because of the pandemic.
Oh.
But yeah, I think over the course of like 7 or 8 years, we've raised close to like 10 grand.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's pretty great.
It's cool. Like it gets better every year, kind of a thing,
Yeah.
which is super cool. But so we would always kind of headline those shows and make sure we had a place for people to play and stuff like that. And again, like mostly just covers. Eventually, we had our buddy Caleb come in and play bass, and Joe played guitar and Jack was on drums. And then my buddy Sean was like, I want to play drums too, because I just started learning that. I was like, okay. So we had a dynamic where we had
You were
two
five
drummers.
piece.
We were
Oh.
5 people, but we had 2 drummers.
Ha.
Jack would start the set off, and we would kind of base our songs, especially once we started writing music, based on genre. So we would follow like a flow of how heavy or
Yeah,
how
it'd be like
intense the songs
Euro
were.
punk into pop punk.
Yeah. So Jack would start it off, and then Sean would come in halfway through and take over the drums.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and we would if we could, like if we had enough room to do 2 drum kits.
You should have done both. That's what I was gonna say at the same time.
What would we do if we had the room to set up 2 drum kits? We would cover Jesus of Suburbia, and then halfway through that song, Sean would take over, and Jack would quit because there's like that genre change where it gets really heavy about halfway through the song. So we would use that to kind of change the set because Sean was drumming generally was a little more heavier.
Oh, okay.
Use that so like halfway through the song, Sean would start playing drums and Jack would kind of get up and leave.
Within what, probably like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So
So this, I want to tell you first.
okay.
So
I was
about-
gonna say something different, I think.
So about 2 years ago, Caleb was getting heavier into his mechanic apprenticeship.
He was going to become a mechanic.
He was going to become a mechanic, so his schedule got a little too much, and he was working like 50-hour weeks on top of trying to do like band practice with us and more schooling and all that. So he quit out, and then I had to learn bass. Like, so
he had 2 months.
Yeah,
to learn a set.
I quit December 19th, and I had to learn 45 minutes worth of music for our first gig in February 2nd.
And you'd never played bass.
Never before.
Yeah.
Because I was like, we're not gonna find a new person and try and bring them into this. Like, let's just work with what we have.
So I had to do some self-evaluation and go, okay, Sean is better than me. This makes most sense.
And to be honest, like, Jack never playing bass, but we also have a big history of music. Like, we all did all kinds of music through school. Jack was in band. He was a flautist. So, like, the musical theory behind a lot of what we do made it definitely a lot easier for Jack to apply to learning bass for him. So it definitely made things a little easier than just picking up a brand new instrument, never knowing it before.
I will say, if you go and listen to Red, that's our first single that we released, like, professionally mixed, mastered, great. We recorded it at what? June or April? Or?
No, it was June. So you hadn't even you started playing bass in December, and you recorded your first song, our first single, in June.
About half a year.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What I want to ask about is that first show when you had to learn 45 minutes of music. Like, how did that go, in your honest opinion?
Probably better than I let myself believe.
Yeah.
Because for that entire month, well, I was
it was at 765, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a huge.
Oh, that spot in London, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've played there with Alex actually.
Yeah, we've played there many a time.
Yeah, it wasn't a
so you guys
show.
Understand.
Like, it was still a good show, a good turnout. People wanted to kind of see like what the dynamic was going on since Caleb left.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was still. I probably definitely hate on myself a little bit more than I should have, because for that month is probably the most dedicated I've been doing instruments since flute in grade school.
Yeah, and since that show, he hasn't been that dedicated.
Jeez.
Jokes, man, jokes. He's
Yeah.
killing it. He's killing it.
You know, it's definitely interesting. Like,
Well, I think that's pretty impressive.
Hell yeah.
well, and then that year we also got like Blackout Fest. Like, we started like landing some pretty
because
hefty
we
gigs.
started writing more songs and really bumping into the fact that we were an original band and not just somebody. You know what I mean? Like that's.
Mm-hmm.
And
So what other songs would you guys cover? I mean, you mentioned Jesus of Suburbia. Is there any other tracks you still cover? You covered then, or Sorry, we could even expand this question to just influences in general. What kind of stuff influences you guys?
Our main joke is the fact that we started off as a Weezer cover band.
We learned a lot of Weezer songs that I love.
And it's easy. Weezer's easy.
Weezer's fun.
It's fun and it's easy. It's
Green Day.
people
for sure.
know it.
Yeah.
What's
Green
your
Day,
favorite Weezer song?
El Scorcho.
Oh, okay, fair. That's a good pick.
Yeah, we covered like pretty much. I mean, a lot of your basic stuff like that everyone covers all the time, like Green Day songs, Blink songs, Weezer songs, a couple of Gob tunes.
Kryptonite.
Yeah, Three Doors Down, Kryptonite. Like, because
Okay.
when we're putting on stuff for like the town, our town's more of a country town, so we have to play either more like classic rock or like radio rock stuff.
We'll play lit before they turn country.
Yeah.
And the tunes for the dads.
Yeah, exactly. And people dig it. People get into it, but we still get to throw our stuff into it a little bit, which is cool.
Yeah, like when we do the fireworks. When we first jumped on, because there's the big Canada Day fireworks. The one year the town finally came to us and like, hey, like, you guys kind of are the big band here, right? So they're like, would you guys want to do this? And it's a great paycheck, and we also kind of became really good friends with them. So they're like, please just do a lot of cover stuff. We're like, well, we have originals. And when we, they finally got talking to us and hanging out with us, they're like, you know what, you guys are really cool. Sure, throw a few of your originals in there, but keep what we would do is we would take a lot of the stuff we used to do, plus some of our originals, and just kind of weave it in and out of the set, and people don't even notice.
Yeah, stuff generally flows together well.
Yeah.
Influences are weird though because I don't think we play towards a lot of our influences.
No.
Like my favorite band is Alexis on Fire, and
Okay.
we don't play like Alexis on Fire.
Yeah, I mean, I guess on my end we kind of do because my favorite band is Green Day, but second to that it's definitely I Prevail. So
Okay.
Foo Fighters.
The
Foo Fighters.
Foos.
Foo Fighters all the way.
we find it
Favorite
like
band.
Joe
And
said.
I think what Sean's favorite band is like the either Breaking Benjamin or the Deftones.
Yeah.
I know
Okay.
that's counterparts too.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, counterparts.
Well, I
but
was
with-
listening to like I think it's like the end of How You've Grown. You guys kind of have that like guitar like dual lead thing. It kind of reminded me of Alexis on Fire. Like
Okay, people have been saying that, and I think people are just trying to jerk me off and make me feel good. But I mean, if that's a real thing from somebody I've never met before,
God, man, like I mean, sort of. It's kind of like something off of like Watch Out, like
Yeah.
kind of early Alexis. That riff in particular, that jumped out at me.
there's a lot of different things. I think there's a couple of tunes that we have. Somebody compared Red to the Beyblade theme song once. That was pretty cool.
That was some high praise.
Someone
Somebody
should
compared.
cover that.
Yeah.
We should cover that.
We
Instead of doing Scooby-Doo. Instead of doing
Southbound talked about
Scooby-Doo.
covering
Yeah.
it.
We had somebody compare Bikes to they said that it sounded kind of like The Offspring, and like that was kind of neat. The new song that's coming out next week. Oh, sorry. The new song that's coming out next week. We have some harmonies that are really like Alice in Chains, Lane Staley kind of harmonies.
Nice.
Funky.
And yeah, it's got some funk to it. Like I
It's
think
funky.
we try not to subscribe to a genre. We just play however we play, and whatever comes out comes out.
We are
we
big
have-
believers in music is music. You know,
Yeah,
like we
that's a
don't
good way to do it.
And we do have some songs that aren't necessarily recorded yet, but they're definitely on the heavier side. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
got a lot
We have a hardcore song.
heavier stuff. We
Yeah, we've
have
got-
a hardcore song that is still in the works.
Yeah.
And I've also been told like our sound is very big guitars.
Well, I think the best description of it was somebody said it reminded them of like 80s to 90s Epitaph record, like skater punk bands.
Okay. Yeah.
Find us
Something that'd be
the-
on like the Warp sampler from like early 2000s, late 90s kind of deal.
Or like any Tony Hawk Pro Skater like soundtrack and everything.
If anything, I think this
So
proves
excited
that
for that
we really don't know what we are because we don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. You know, I think people respond to musical honesty, and it sounds like you guys are playing what you want to play, and ultimately that transcends genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Music's music. If you write a good song and I like it, I'll listen to
One of
it.
the things that I like to think about is just we're gonna do what we're gonna do, and we're gonna let everybody else categorize us how they want,
Be
right?
the judge of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's up to the radio stations to determine genre.
yeah.
Us.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about the new upcoming song. What's it called? How do you guys write it? Just give me a little background.
The new song is called "What's Done." It's kind of like a sister song to "How You've Grown." So when we actually wrote it just out of a jam. So we were playing "How You've Grown," and then I kind of started carrying a similar chord progression past the end of the song, and everyone just kind of came in like how it felt naturally, and we were just jamming out, and it was really funky and really groovy and cool. So then I took, and this was shortly after like the end of that giant ass relationship that How You've Grown is kind of based on.
Oh, okay.
So I took the chords and the groove and wrote lyrics of how like the other end of it, hence like "What's Done." It's all over now. Like what's done is done. We're moving forward. I'm gonna get better with my brain. And
It's like a part
figure
2.
out- Yeah, exactly.
And
So
that's how the music video.
so that's how it all flows, right? Like, so we decided that when we were going to release them, because we've had these songs for probably How
Yeah, it
You've
was
Grown.
new band.
How You've Grown was one of our first songs that we started playing together.
Mhm.
Like as a
Oh,
as
so
a-
you never really released it until now.
No,
Oh no.
because we knew it was more of a, it was one, not necessarily a super complex song, but the way that we wanted it to come out needed a really good fucking engineer and producer. Like, we needed somebody who knew what they were doing, and it took us a while. Like, our EP was done by guys that were fantastic. It was done at EMAC Studios in London. But once we connected with Siegfried Meyer at Beach Road Studios, it was like, yo, okay, this is the guy who's gonna do these songs for us. So they were the first 2 songs that we did with him.
So that guy ended up being like the producer for you. Like, everyone, like, it's always like a good match that you want to find, right?
Yeah. Like, our relationship with Sig is super rad. So when we started doing those,
Inside me.
yeah, he's been inside Jack.
I don't want
Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah. But yeah, so the song kind of came pretty organically, and when we decided to do the videos and release it for this summer,
It sounded like Sig came pretty organically. If
yeah, that too. We wanted to really have like a cool release for it and have like almost like a short film where we had a part 1 and a part 2, just like the song is. So we made the artwork and the video kind of play off of that idea, where we wrote a pretty ambiguous script for the video, where it's, once you see both parts, you put them together, you can kind of create what you think it's supposed to be about and how you think it's supposed to roll. Like, it's not really set in stone. It's up to the viewer to kind of make their decision on how they feel it affects them, which is really cool. And then, like, the artwork was done by one of our friends, and they fit together into one, like, giant piece. So we wanted to get, like, for touring and stuff this summer, we wanted to get, like, prints made up so that you could buy up prints and put them together and shit like that. And
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
So it would be you guys haven't done the new music video for the upcoming song yet, I'm assuming, because of what's going on, right?
We did all at once.
We did all the videos.
Oh, so it's done.
Yeah, it's done. We did them right before everything happened.
Oh, so it has like all the same people in it, and it's a continuation. Okay.
We essentially shot 2 music videos in one day.
Yeah, it was pretty rad. It was a full day.
Fun fact, all of our videos have been done by our drummer.
Yeah.
Sean.
He's super rad.
Oh, wow. That's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, he's really good, and he just shoots it himself, and whenever he's got to play, we have a friend. Like, sometimes our old bass player comes back and helps us out, and sometimes it's our friend JJ who comes in and helps us out. And Sean went to school for it, and he's really good at editing and everything. Like, he's super good at finding the right shots too. Like, so he's trying to get out there and do more for people that aren't just us, so that he can maybe make a little bit of money out of it and get himself out there more.
Portfolio.
Yeah, but just doing our videos gives him a fantastic portfolio.
Yeah, and he did shoot a music video for Nostalgic Bright Lights as well. That was the one that he did do.
Yeah, he did that and something else, I think. But.
What are some other local bands that you guys are fans of? Because I mean, we first connect with you through Hollowcore, who kind of turned us on to you guys. So like, who are some other locals that you could recommend music-wise? Maybe we should interview one day. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think our best friends right now are probably like Southbound, Rival Town, Fortune Cove,
Harbor.
Youngest and Only.
Youngest and Only.
Youngest and Only's rad. There's so many
Among
bands.
Legends.
Among Legends.
We've been. Let me go through my friends' playlist.
Among Legends,
so many
Cake Face.
Cake Face is
Cake Face,
I've
yeah.
heard of Cake Face and Rival Town.
Yeah, Among Legends kind of coined the term for us, and it's kind of produced the hashtag nicest band ever. So just from, I'm not trying to say like we're the nicest band ever, but just from that point, I'm like, you know what, it makes sense as to why we have so many band friends.
Like, we pretty much make best friends with everyone. If you guys are into rap, check out Dirty Mac. He's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's actually from hometown Elmer.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of bands
else?
around
We have
here.
a couple other bands like
Captain Bring Down and the
Captain Bring Down.
Buzzkill.
We just did a live stream with a couple of those guys last night, and Glass Lung. They're like a hardcore band from around
Yes,
here.
I know Glass Lung.
Yeah, they used to be Stronghold when I was in high school, and I went and saw their shows a couple of times, and they were like the house show venue and the band to like know around the area, and now they ask us to put on house shows for them, and like
Yeah,
we like kind of
pass
have
the torch.
Yeah, they kind of like pass the torch on to us,
Yeah.
which is super cool. So
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
That's
awesome. And I mean, I don't want to shatter the nicest band ever moniker here, but I do have to ask about Green Day, which is what did you guys think of their last album, their latest release? Because I have negative thoughts on it, and I want to know what.
Jack's biased.
I'm not biased. I'm not biased. I'm going to give you the probably most unbiased answer here. Because at first I didn't like it at all. I'm like, this is not Green Day. This is not the guys I know. You know, what the fuck. But then after the full album was released, and I follow all the guys on social media, and Billy Joe had did this write-up saying they were really aiming to do an album that they could have fun with, that was more just about having fun and, you know, partying up with the boys.
Mm-hmm. And I did hear he focused a lot doing new things vocally, which you can really hear through it as well.
So when I tried to like sit and listen to it from that perspective, I'm like, you know what, it still got that kind of punk rock feel with the fact that you put it on and it's done in 10 to 20 minutes. You know, it's not even like a long album.
No.
But for sure, like, it's just like, if I'm having fun, I'll just like, or I'm just like doing cleaning, I'll just toss it on. Like, it makes the time go by faster. It's a fun little album. Like, I love Mike Dirnt's little bass riffs in it, and it's definitely just something that you can just throw on and party to. So I'm like, I think they hit the nail on the head with what their goals were, and you know, from then on, I've actually just kind of learned to like it. So
I gotta say, when they released the first initial single with, you know, Fall Out Boy and Weezer, they all released it at the same time. I was not a fan of the single, and then the next single that came out I wasn't a fan of, but when I listened to the whole album front to back, the singles made sense, and it kind of was like, okay, you know what, I see what they were going for now.
Like in the context of the album.
Yeah. So like when I listened to the album front to back, I kind of I understood it a little more. And then seeing, you know, Billy Joe's explanations behind it, I'm like, okay, I see what they were going for. And, you know, he sings really high throat a lot of it. So the whole doing things different vocally and taking vocal lessons really kind of made sense.
Mm.
But I got to say, like, I liked Revolution Radio a lot more. When they released that first initial single from Revolution Radio, I heard that and I was like, holy shit, like, this is, you know, it's fucking heavier.
Well, that one was more like, if you're a Green Day fan, it was like more familiar, right? Like,
exactly, yeah.
So I listened to the album once. I gave it a fair shot. I listened to it front to back one time and tried to really get into it after knowing that I didn't really like the singles that much. I have a hard time with new Green Day, but I also understand, like, they're older guys. They're trying to do.
They're not young and angry.
Yeah, they're not the same people they were back in the day, right? So you're not going to get that Dookie or that Nimrod kind of a feel on things. You're going to get who they are now, and you kind of have to respect that as a fan. But it doesn't mean you have to listen to the album all the time.
No, fair. And what do you guys think about New Blink? Is it a similar situation where
we're not talking
Blink-182 has been a band since
the Popsicle album?
I want to stop.
They haven't been a band since Tom left.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It's not Blink-182 anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Like, it's not Blink-182 anymore.
Like, there's flossing in their music video.
Okay, I like the.
You gotta grow again. Like, you have to grow. They're not the same thing. They're not the same people. But I don't like the fact that they try to, like, that Mark is still trying to be Blink-182. Like, right now they're just
this fool. Come on, like, that was a classic song.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say I liked California. I liked it. It was a good album.
It was all right.
Unpopular opinion, it was decent.
They're plus 44 right now.
It's not really the Blink.
Can we all agree though that Mark Hoppus will probably still fuck your mom though?
100%.
No, he won't, because he's happily married.
That's true.
With 3 kids, 2 kids.
I'm sure his wife will understand.
I found it funny that like you guys would all agree on that because you're all brothers.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, so Blink wasn't a band after Tom left. What's your favorite Blink album then? I mean, you can each go individually, or is there a consensus of what their best record was?
I have to go look at their albums to remind myself.
Yeah, I think take off your shirt, pants, and jacket or whatever. that one was called.
Alright.
I think that was one of my favorites. But then Enema of the State I still have the CD
That's
in my
the one.
car.
That's when you guys got me.
That might be my pick, is Enema of the State, and maybe the self-titled would be second for me.
The self-titled is rad. It's hard. I don't just throw on their greatest hits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's usually what I do.
But then also some of those hidden gems on those records are so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go
It's Christmas
unpopular.
Eve and I haven't.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna have to.
fucking presents.
I'm just gonna go Enema of the State because I saw them actually last year.
I was supposed to see him
whatever.
at Rock the Park this year.
But yeah, I saw them on that Lil Wayne tour when Lil Wayne didn't actually come to Canada because border problems, because it's Lil Wayne.
I was like, why the fuck are they
But
touring?
yeah,
with Lil
I saw them on that tour, and Simple Plan had jumped on the Canadian dates.
Oh, okay.
Wayne? Plan would have made that.
They
a
had
bad
played the entire Enema of the State album front to back for the anniversary.
Oh,
So
I didn't know they were doing that. That's cool.
well, I think because the day that we saw them was the anniversary, so that's what they did that day. Funny story from that, actually. Like, they did the entire Enema of the State album front to back, and then they did an extra, like, 30 minutes with the full stage get-up where Travis Barker gets in the little dome and he does, like, the 360, 180 bullshits, like,
He
drum
does the
solo.
Tommy Lee stuff.
He does, yeah, the Tommy Lee drum solo stuff.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if my band or if your band or if any band had the budget, I mean, we would all be doing that. We would
yeah.
all be 360ing.
Tommy Lee just, like, 100% pioneered that.
Oh yeah.
So, like, after that was done, the guy that was sitting next to me turns to me and goes, like, is this what concerts are for your generation now? I'm like, what are you complaining about? You know what they just fucking did for us?
I love how
And I'd be like, Motley Crue is your generation, buddy.
Yeah, like what?
I love how like some complete stranger is just like involving you like in their thought process and like their saltiness.
The best part is, like, he was maybe 5 years older than me.
And why is he there if he's just gonna crap on the show? I don't get it.
Dude, like, they just gave you 30 to 45 minutes of new shit. They gave you an entire album's worth of old.
And now Simple Plan's gonna come on.
No, Simple Plan just played before.
Oh, they played before? Oh, I didn't know. I
Dude,
wasn't there.
Simple Plan jumped on this show and I was gonna come in and headline.
Seems like a very lonely and bitter person.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, Crossy and I are huge music nerds, and so a lot of this podcast is like deep diving into discographies. So I think at some point we will do Blink 182. I think that would
That'd be
actually be a fun one to
That
go
would be a
through.
really fun
That
one.
would
That would be a
cool,
fun
so.
one.
What did
Yeah.
you guys do so far?
We did Mastodon. We're gonna do Dillinger Escape Plan. It's mostly been metal focused right now, but I want to expand, go into like the
All
pop
sorts
punk
of
and
genres.
rock and kind of go kind of all over the map.
That'd be cool.
If you do
But-
Foo Fighters one, call me up.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, hey, if we do a Blink one, we should get you guys on and like, we go through each record and each song and kind of track the evolution of the band, and it would be interesting to hear what you guys think.
I would, my main knowledge is pretty much Green Day. So if you do a Green Day one, definitely call me, because I have some strong opinions about Unos, Dos, and Dre.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me some of them now?
Are they
Because
good or bad?
Yeah, are they good or bad? Like
They're
quick take.
good. They're good because, in my opinion, they're very underrated Green Day albums.
I agree with that. They wrote,
3 albums in the span and released them in a span of 1 year.
but they wrote like 100 songs.
There's just a little bit of filler on them though, boys. Like,
Yeah.
My
You have to
opinion,
have a little
on my
bit of
opinion about that, a lot of the singles were fucking fantastic.
Fair enough.
The singles were fucking fantastic, and I really feel like they had just come off of this what? So they did American Idiot, and then they did 21st Century Breakdown, like boom, boom, fucking right after the huge tours. Come back from all that. During all that time of touring, Billy Joe had to have been writing a lot of stuff. So, and I really think that's what a lot of that album was just all this.
And musical
Amount
filler
of
is better than like
songs.
anime filler. You know what I mean? Musical filler at least makes sense.
Yeah, and
Anime
like,
filler is like,
and that's the thing when it comes to
Or
or
any
like
other
Dragon
film.
Ball Z anime filler, that kind of thing, like
Yeah.
where they're just traveling for 50 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Like musical filler can be interesting. It can be like, oh, that's a cool idea. That's a cool
musical
theme.
filler is 100% important because "Down with the Sickness" was the filler song.
Yeah, Down with the
Sickness was filler.
If you listen to anything or watch anything from like a Disturbed idea, like that was like a 10-minute write in the studio. We need an extra song to make this album make sense.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it was actually the same with Tornado of Souls by
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was only probably like the second or third Megadeth song I decided to learn, and I quit about halfway into it. But yeah, like, honestly, like in my opinion, just like Father of All Motherfuckers, like Uno, Dos, and Tre, like they're gonna be small Green Day albums, but when you just start, say you go to like Green Day's Spotify page and just hit shuffle, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, what the fuck is this banger? And you look at it and it's from Tre, or it's from Dos. You're like, oh, I didn't even know the song existed. It's because nobody pays those albums any attention.
It's a lot of content
so, yeah.
that it's good for the fans. I do have to make a counterpoint. Anime filler can be interesting. Like imagine you have like Dragon Ball Z, like got like Bulma like having a shower and Master Roshi's like creeping on her. That makes like for some good humor. Like there could be good anime filler, man.
I chirped anime filler, but I love anime filler. I'm not one of those guys to speed run that kind of shit, so I'm just being an asshole.
Yeah, I'm just playing, man. This isn't really an anime podcast, so I do watch it, but I'm not an expert.
It was one of those things where you said filler, and it was the first thing I jumped at.
Yeah,
I've only ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh. I can't comment on any anime.
If you guys ever dive into anime, let me know.
Maybe one day. I always really liked American Idiot. I still think that
it's a
that
well-made
album is kind of. I think it's unfairly derided by a lot of people. Like retrospectively now, looking back at it, and it's actually like a pretty accomplished record.
People are assholes about it.
The
but...
Bullet and the Bible tour. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah. You guys saw it?
Oh, we have it on DVD.
No.
We have the we didn't
just
see
got
it.
the
We,
DVD.
We have
the DVD.
The DVD from like England. Like
Joe makes it sound really cool. But...
Dude, we played that DVD.
Yeah, but you made it sound like we saw it. Like you said, the tour. Like, yeah, we were there.
I'm saying like no. I'm saying that I grew up on like American Idiot / like because we had the DVD / like CD from the tour.
Yes, we listened to it a lot.
Yeah, it was, I grew up on that.
Yeah, it was pretty rad.
And like, the deepness behind like almost every song that they have on there. The depth, yeah. Like "Wake Me Up When September Ends" being about his dad, and then pretty much like.
Can we talk about other things?
Jesus of Suburbia.
I do love Green Day, but I don't want this to be a Green Day.
Sorry.
All right.
No, it's not your
That's why I
fault.
said, call me when you guys dive into Green Day. Like,
Okay,
Yes.
fair enough. Yeah, we'll just move on. We'll shift the focus back to Moore Ave Underground.
No, you don't have to do that either.
No?
Whatever you want.
Let's talk about
whatever
stuff,
you
man.
whatever you want. Whatever you want.
All
I
right,
do have a
let's,
couple
so
more
the-
questions though. Like
So
what?
the HST rate.
What's the pandemic ends? What's the plan for you guys? What are you guys gonna do?
Big ass fucking house show and a tour across Ontario.
Oh, we have different goals. I just want to hug my homies.
Just wanna
No, we're definitely
hug your homies, let them get inside you, kind of deal.
So many birds.
Jack's
Normal
calling
friend
sig.
stuff.
Jack's calling sig. Yeah, no, we're definitely gonna just play as many fucking shows as
Just a
possible
lot of
wherever.
shows.
But we're definitely starting that off with a house show because
Yeah.
when we've noticed that when we don't do a house show for a long time, that first one after a bit is normally a bigger one. So we're figuring
That's what
that with the pandemic, everybody being trapped inside, essentially,
Yeah.
everyone's going to be itching to get out, especially around here. And if we're doing a house show, where they're all going to go, right?
So, like you host them like at your jam space.
Yeah. So our jam space is the basement of our parents' house. They're super chill and really awesome parents, and we've kind of built up our jam space to be like, I don't know, people call it like a venue now. I don't know. Everybody wants to play it all the time, so it's super cool. That I just was like super passive about how that is, but I'm not like that kind of a person, so don't judge me.
I don't know, man. That sounds kind of cocky to me. Like,
Yeah, I know.
it's a bit intimidating.
My bad.
Are you guys worried at all about venues shutting down? Like there was a status about a couple hours ago about Doors Pub in Hamilton. That's
Really?
that one might be shutting. Yeah, there's
I'm bummed that there's been so many that shut down. Like we were scheduled, like we were working on playing. I think we were supposed to play the Fox in April, and then that's like gone.
yeah, that one's gone.
I'm super bummed. There was another really big one in Hamilton that is gone now too.
This ain't Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I really wanted to play there, and like
We
so,
only got to play the Doors a couple times.
yeah, like so. I hope Doors doesn't shut down.
Yeah, Doors is the best.
Yeah, me too. It was sort of they haven't announced they're shutting, but it was kind of a hint that it might be coming. So
I think what could be good is that maybe there's going to be hopefully a few more house show venues that come out of it, because there won't be as many other venues to play other than bigger ones. But at the same time, if it's only bigger venues that are around and less smaller venues, then hopefully, if they're smart, those bigger venues are going to be booking more local bands and less bigger bands, because they're going to need to book more shows a little last minute. And then they're going to have big shows because everyone's going to go. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're not going to take this shit for granted. So
They're not gonna take a hot financial
if the bigger venues are smart, they're going to book more local bands and kind of get people out to play shows, especially if there's not as many smaller venues.
Yeah,
But
'cause-
I really hope there's a lot more smaller venues that can find a way to stay open and to kind of work through it all. But
and I really hope if they do that, they have a cheaper ticket price.
you said doo-doo.
I did. I just like having a cheaper ticket price too. Like, they won't take a hit financially. People are gonna buy the tickets to get there. They're gonna buy drinks over there.
It's not
I'm just
necessarily
saying,
a
like-
ticket price that's always
Well-
a big issue. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
technically, Rum Runners and Music Hall are bigger venues, and they don't have a hefty ticket price.
No,
Like
they
10,
definitely
15.
don't.
It
I'm just saying,
depends on
'cause-
the acts that come in. So if
Yeah.
they're booking more local acts, it's not going to be
Yeah.
that big.
And I was just trying to say, like, try to keep things maybe a little bit cheaper, just because of a lot of the people that lost jobs or had to go on EI because of
Have
this.
some
And
drink deals or something like that.
yeah, it might be a little financially hurting. So
Well, I think a lot of them so Brandon Eady does like all the Music Hall or Rum Runner stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he, when they did like an online emo night on Friday night that we went to and got way too smashed at, which was a lot of fun. But they raised a bunch of money for Rum Runner staff through like a GoFundMe.
Oh, cool.
Like a pay what you can or whatever for the event. And every time you donated, or every depending on how much you donated, you got like a T-shirt, and you were entered to a raffle. And that raffle, there was a few different prizes where you could win like a year's free emo night, or the first emo night back, you can bring a party of 5 for free and drink for free that night, or something like that. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So people are coming up with ideas that are creative to kind of get more people out to shows once everything comes back up and starts again, which I think is good too.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
nice.
is
So
encouraging.
what was that? Just like a giant Zoom call with like 500 people? Like, how does that work? I heard about it, but I didn't really know like how it worked.
It was generally, he just streamed Twitch, like he streamed himself on Twitch. So he originally tried to do a Zoom call with like the other guy that does emo nights with Joey,
Yeah. Okay.
and the Zoom conference call to also like streaming that to Twitch was really laggy. So he cut that out, and he was just playing like emo night playlists and DJing from his laptop with like a camera on him and like a background,
Oh, okay.
and streamed it on Twitch, and everyone just joined the Twitch stream.
Oh, that's chill.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was a good
it
time.
was fun. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I got super drunk.
We all did.
we all got really good. It had been a while. We needed it.
Yeah. Good.
Oh, man.
Good way to blow off some steam. So,
Yeah.
you guys have you told me a bit about like your basement venue that you throw house shows at. What are like some of your guys' favorite venues like when you're on tour, like to play other than that?
Rum Runners. We've only
Rum Runners?
we've played Rum Runners like what 3 times?
3 times.
And oh my god, each time we've had a really really good crowd.
Oh yeah.
Really good energy. The sound guys there, I think that's probably some of our more better like live mix sounding shows.
Yeah, the sound guy is almost like more important than the venue, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think each time we played there, we've had a different sound guy, and each time they've just been fantastic.
Oh, that's great then.
And it's a bigger stage, so we got more room. We're a really high energy band, so we definitely have a lot of room there to move around and bounce around and jump and perform. Which
the
is
thing
really
that
nice.
sucks is we haven't played a lot of places. Like we overplayed London like nuts, but still somehow drew a pretty good crowd for most shows, which is pretty unheard of, I guess, when you overplay an area, right? But like we got lucky with some really loyal local followers, which is super sweet. So we haven't played a whole lot of places, and that was kind of our goal this summer, was just to fucking like get in the van and play like a couple weekends every month, make sure everyone had it off, and just go and book the shows. So we had I had so much booked, just like everyone, I'm sure. Like, I'm not saying we had more than anyone else, but just a lot of places we had never played before booked, which
big
was
summer plans.
Super, super important. So when it comes to like our favorite places to play, like they're pretty basic. So like Rum Runners, we just got in last year, and that was a lot of fun. We played the Bovine once in 2019 too.
Oh, Bovine's great. I've had the pleasure of playing there too. I love that venue.
We played that like last minute. Our buddy asked us if we wanted to play on the Friday night, or on Friday. He asked us if we wanted to play on Saturday. We were like, sure. So everyone was working, and it was ridiculous. So we were all freaking tired, and I had to drive there, and it was nuts. And we got there, and I don't know. It was
How far is Toronto from you guys?
2.5 hours, depending on traffic.
Yeah, that's a drive, boys.
So it was only our second time playing in Toronto. The first time we played at Sneaky D's, and that was in August.
That was a cool.
And that was also a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
But so we're still not used to Toronto, and we're just driving around stressed and tired as hell.
You mean leg day?
Leg day. But yeah, when we had a full crowd, like that place was packed front to back, and it was weird because we're playing like, I guess like pop punk at a hardcore show.
Yeah,
so it's like,
there's a lot of crossover there though. Like,
oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So yeah, Bovine's rad. 765 was kind of one of our starter spots, so we always give love to 765 because Jim's always treated us really well.
It's a really nice sound setup there. That like the stage, the PA, everything.
There's just not a lot of foot traffic, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
We've played the Richmond in London a couple times, and every time we do, it's like the biggest party. Like, it's so much fun.
Oh, damn.
So like that's pretty rad. We've only ever played one other house show besides our own place, and that was in Mississauga, the Polarity Band House. I don't know if you know guys there, Polarity.
I know of them.
It was like
I know them.
They're really good people.
Yeah, good group of guys. It was like a guys and lady. It was like
Recommend them for your.
yeah. It was like a frat. It was like a frat party kind of a thing, but also a bit like a house show. So like that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, I don't know, where else have we played?
Oh, we played Waterloo, St. Catherine's.
Oh yeah, the pinup arcade in Waterloo was super fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It
cool.
was also rad to just like jam on arcade games all day.
Yeah.
We've only played Detour in St. Catherine's.
And they just closed down.
R.I.P. Yeah, they closed down.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Detour. They shut down. That you know what? It's nice though, because like you guys played at the arcade. Not nice Detour shutting down, but it's nice like because you have to like go to a venue at like 4 or 5 p.m. to like sound check or whatever, and then you're there like all fucking day, nothing to do. Like, so yeah. If there was like a few arcade cabinets, I'd like that. They should. I'm gonna put that in my rider once I go back on tour. That they should have cabinets there.
It's a rad place too.
It's a good place, and like you get to play for free because you're in the band or whatever. So like that's super fun. So all the games are on like free play. You basically, if you go there regularly to play, you just have to like pay like a flat fee, and you get to play until you're done, kind of a thing.
Oh, sick.
No, it's pretty sick. We played a hot dog stand in Cambridge once.
We played that too. What up, dog?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great food.
Good food, and like the people were really cool for the most part.
This is the voice I'm reading, and I can go, I'm not embarrassed about that.
There's one in the air, is that vine in the earth? I'm
'Cause- so our old band, the band that Crossy and I played in, we
Yeah.
were the first. I believe we were the first band to ever play What Up Dog, because
Oh, really?
I messaged the owner and I was wondering, we were trying to find a Cambridge show,
Yeah.
so I ran across this hot dog stand and I thought it would be a lark, right, to have a show at a hot dog place, and
Mhm.
Somewhere to
and he was
play,
like,
yeah.
yeah, he was like, we never had a band here before, but sure, we can do that. And so in that case, it was just us. It was one band, right? And I mean, and I figured like the size of that place, I don't know how you could work it with more than like one or two bands. So
Yeah,
that's
five
five
bands.
bands is shocking in that venue.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. So yeah, it was Cake Face, us,
Plain Dilemma.
Plan Dilemma, Block
Oh,
Parent.
shout-outs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Plain Dilemma's good.
Yeah, we became pretty good friends with Plan Dilemma after that, like, or at least with Dan.
Right, Dan, and yeah, Dan's in Hall of
We know
Core,
Dan
okay.
pretty well.
Yeah.
I had just interviewed Dan on my podcast, like when afterwards, like
Yeah, so like we became good friends with those guys after that. We had them over for a house show and
Dan's
stuff.
the worst to interview though. It's actually horrible.
he's a gorgeous human being.
So
Absolutely.
Dan's
deplorable.
awesome.
I know. I'm just messing around.
I know, you're kidding.
I
You probably
I like roasting previous guests, so like I'm gonna make fun of you guys a bit on the next episode
Oh,
Yeah,
Sig,
totally cool. Do it.
just talk about how Jack got finger banged by Sig.
by Sig, and like he entered him. Yeah.
And he came naturally. Was that the
Organically.
Yeah, organically.
Let me tell you something about getting fingered by a Sig.
Okay.
A lot of lube.
No.
Wow.
That's very thoughtful of
You
him.
don't expect it to happen, but then you just kind of enjoy it, you know?
This
Like a
is for
happy
the
accident.
creative process, Jack. Like,
Yeah.
that's what he would say.
And fell fingers first, okay?
Yeah.
didn't
Oh my
know that.
gosh. Oh man. So Crossy, what other questions? Do you any other questions on there?
We kind of were just chatting the whole time. I didn't even write a lot of questions down.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
yeah, we got your new single coming out. Your favorite venues, what your plan is. You're gonna go on a big tour. Is there anything you guys would like to plug or talk about?
Man, we just recorded in January a couple more songs with Sig.
Oh, okay.
And so we recorded How You've Grown What's Done in September and are just releasing them now. We recorded 2 new songs called Beanies and Plaid Jackets and 6 Feet in January. And we got the mix back for Beanies.
Yeah.
And it's just like a fun tune where you get to laugh a lot. We make fun of stereotypes and say, screw everything else, just wear beanies and plaid jackets because it's way better and way cooler.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, I approve.
And we're going to make a really funny video with that too, just like the 4 of us, in probably about a month or so, because we have like a couple more releases planned. So after this one comes, like the song comes out next week, we're going to do like probably, I think we filmed a live session in our at our jam space for a TV program in March.
Oh wow, that's great.
Nice.
So we have a couple of those videos because the TV, like the season, got kind of postponed because of everything that's going on. They couldn't film any more sessions because it's basically like on Eastlink cable, and it's called Homegrown Music, and he just finds bands, records them doing a live session, does some interviews with them, and then cuts it into a half hour to an hour episode and sends it in, and then like they post it or whatever, right? Like it's
Oh,
pretty
cool.
simple.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
So when's that coming out?
I don't know when the episode's gonna drop because that could take a while longer with all the pandemic and everything. But he's got a couple of videos for us. One of our old songs, High Functioning, is probably going to come out on his YouTube channel. Like he's going to drop them on his YouTube channel. So our old song High Functioning is going to come out a live session probably beginning of June, and then to kind of remind everybody that How You've Grown What's Done is happening, we're going to drop that live video and probably end of June, and then hopefully we'll have the video for Beanies done and the mix for 6 Feet done. But that's like the mix, like the whole point of this was like the mix for Beanies. It sounds so good. Like I shit myself listening to it.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
It's so
Wow.
And the song 6 Feet has nothing to do with the pandemic.
yeah. We
It was
wrote it
written
long,
like years
long
before.
Fair enough. Well, that's that kind of leads me to another question. Wait, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Something cut out for a sec. Yeah. So you guys, like I've just noticed in this interview, like you tend to write songs like way, like in the past, and then you release them like years later. Is that just mainly due to sort of the new producer like Sig that you've met, or is there like any other reason that you guys do that?
It took us a long time to find somebody that we like to work with.
We were very skeptical, I guess, because like obviously, you know, you guys might know when you start a band, you start hearing like horror stories about being in the scene and working with people and all that.
I've experienced all of these horror stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, that being said, like we have too once we started searching, but like we were very hesitant when we started out because we didn't want to put out shit content. We didn't want to believe in something and then like have it turn out bad. So like we had a decent experience with Eugene Francois and St. Thomas. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
That's where we recorded that lame thing.
the
Yeah.
demo. Yeah,
we kind of rushed.
it was our
that
first
out.
time, and we just rushed through it.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
And then, you know, a few years went on after that, and we just kind of like,
We couldn't find anybody that we 100% gelled with.
Yeah, and you wanted to release the music like as best as possible. So you had a lot of songs in the vault then.
Yeah.
yeah.
Basically, we had like no songs as a band, and then I had an altercation with somebody based on a friend's girlfriend cheating on him with me, and he got grumpy at us, which is fair. Like, it was fair, like whatever. But then he started kind of bashing us on social media and told everyone that we were sucky because we were just a cover band. So I was like, fuck you. So I took all my acoustic songs and I threw them at the band, and we wrote like 8 songs over the course of a month, and then played them all at our next show, and we're like, fuck you, we're an original band, asshole.
Wow.
But
So
since then, we become really good friends with that guy again. So
Yeah.
like, life's good. But yeah, that was kind of the big push to get us to really start writing.
So
Yeah.
if that didn't happen, like if that altercation didn't happen, do you guys think you'd be where you're at now? Like that actually like inspired you guys to start pushing out originals.
Yeah, that was a big moment for us to
Mhm.
kind of start the train going.
100%.
Out of spite, almost. That's
Yeah.
I like that. That's I haven't heard that before. I usually get kind of like a generic story, so that was intriguing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, now we're best friends with them again, and life's great. But yeah, so I think we've had a lot of songs that, and the thing is too, I'm like anybody else, like a little bit of a perfectionist. So I want to make sure the song's going to sound good before we go out. So I just don't want to start throwing them out there. You know what I mean? And we had never worked too much with like professional studio. So when we got in with EMAC and we recorded Red, which was one of our oldest songs.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's lots of fireworks going on outside.
Ooh.
That's appropriate for the interview. I mean, it's been it's been absolutely explosive.
That's just our pyrotechnics crew.
Yeah.
Working on this show for the post-pandemic.
Yeah, well, that's where my Serb check is going.
We want to act a lot more professional than we need to. That way, like, I don't know, if we ever got in touch with a label, it looks like we're actually doing a lot on our own, or like we're really good at stuff. You know what I mean? Whether we are or aren't.
Yeah.
It's better to look professional and crazy awesome and make sure even if we have to pay out of pocket, or even if we have to, like, whatever we got to do to make
We
things
gotta bite the
happen.
bullet on something
Like, it's money. We can't take it with us, so we might as well just do what we want and have a good time doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And another thing I want to point out.
I'm not saying that we make a lot of money. Again, we work at McDonald's.
Yeah, like one thing that our dad pointed out to us, and just kind of going back to the whole, you know, not releasing for so long and just sitting on these bank of songs, is that big Canadian artist Danko Jones, for the longest time they didn't have music out there, and they're like, our live performance needs to speak for itself. And that's one thing I feel that
Yeah, we spent
we
a lot
definitely
of time
have- we
like
have
solidifying our
a
entertainment
fucking
value.
like energy and a live performance when we're playing live, and it's just
Yeah, so now
it's definitely something that speaks for itself.
So when we first started working with Sig, he came and he watched one of our band practices just to kind of get our vibe and our feel. And that was one thing that he touched on too, is like we had spent a lot of time like perfecting our tone and perfecting our sound as a band. So like came time to go work with Sig, it was just pretty much go and just get to work.
Yeah.
So he was involved in your live performance, like the sort of arranging of it too then.
It does.
Sorry, what was the question?
Oh, like Sig, he came to your practices. Was he involved in like how your live performances went? I think one of you guys kind of. No. Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood. Okay.
So yeah, he just came to check it. Like when we first got in contact with him, he just kind of came to check us out and get our vibe. So he kind of came to see us in our jam space just to see what was up, and that way he could kind of take that into the studio as a better like idea of what he wanted to do and how he wanted to work with us.
One thing I want to touch on is we haven't done this yet, and I feel like a fucking idiot now. Who put us in touch with Siegfried Meyer?
Oh, Ryan Izzard.
Ryan Izzard.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
shout out.
Like huge shout out. Our single Stand Up was recorded by Ryan, and the final song on the EP, which was only on the physical copy for a long time, that we later released on Christmas, Sleeping on the Floor, that was also recorded by Ryan Izzard.
Yeah.
So we worked with him a few times because Ryan recorded Stand Up and then sent it to Sig for mastering, and that's how we got in touch with Siegfried Meyer. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah. It's all about connections, boys.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry, we didn't shout out Ryan at all. I'm like, I cannot believe we haven't shouted out Ryan.
Shout out Ryan Izzard. We love you.
Our focus was never on recording. It was on putting on shows, playing shows, having a good time, and like really solidifying our live performance.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, kind of making a name for ourselves. And then that way we could kind of create those connections. And once we found the right connection, we could put out a good product and not put out shit.
Absolutely. You guys want to take your time and make sure it was 100%. And kind of about the live show, like I'm sure Salas can attest to this, like just playing the songs themselves, like playing the songs well, that's only like about 40% of it. The rest of it is what you're doing in between the songs, like how you're acting and all that, right, Alex?
Yeah, for sure. It's the most effective way to practice is to not just run through your songs, but to run through your set. I'm sure you guys know that. Of course, you rehearse because even when you're not playing a song, that's
people rehearse what they're gonna say.
No, of course. That's
shit. Keep doing that.
No, we just act like fucking losers. Like
we're very awkward, as you can tell.
And I gotta
this
say,
is
like,
pretty much what happens.
This is just what we do. Like,
well, one of the things that I'll do in my own personal practice time when I do it, is I'll lay on the floor and I'll close my eyes and play the songs.
That's
really
so gay.
I know, it's really gay. It helps develop that muscle memory so that I can run around like a maniac and not be fucking up on stage.
I've never seen this happen.
Yeah,
You are making this up.
We
We live in the same house.
You guys are at work.
Of course.
Yeah, sure.
He only does it when you guys aren't around because he's self-conscious. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
It's like my first girlfriend. That's why you guys never met her.
She was from another school.
I met her at camp.
You never went to camp.
Well, yeah.
To plug things. Do you guys allow plugging of other podcasts?
We allow.
Sure. Yeah.
You can plug anything the way Sig does.
We're best friends.
A couple weeks ago, I just started up my own podcast, Underground Talks. Pretty much doing a lot of what you guys are doing now, actually, now that I think of it. But I interview music artists. But the one thing different is we notice, just like us, there's things about artists, like they have certain collections and they have certain little nerdy things about them.
Motifs.
So we're really into Pokemon, and we're really into
motifs?
collecting comics. So I interview different music artists about their bands, about what they're doing in the music industry, about their music tastes, and then I'll also sometimes touch on like collecting and all that. Like my last episode, I just interviewed Darren Bastanzi from Polarity, and he's actually an amateur wrestler. So
Oh, true.
Huh. That's cool. Yeah, hey, we should go on there sometime. We can promote our stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Now that he's done it, you guys get to do it for him.
yeah.
Hey, perfect.
Oh, that's awesome.
Great back.
What
Yeah.
speaking of collections, so like you guys are into like comics and Pokemon, like do you guys have any other hobbies like outside of music and catching them all?
I
Yeah.
have my most prized possession is a living Pokedex. Like I have every Pokemon in order number 1 to 890.
Or like in a list or like an actual Pokedex?
No, like I
He
I
has
own
them.
like there's a thing called Pokemon Home. It's like extra storage outside of games if you don't have enough. Like if you have too many Pokemon for
Oh, like from the actual games, you have the full set.
Yeah, like so I have. If you are on Instagram at all, I have an account because I'm a shiny hunter. I just collect shinies all the time. I try and catch them. It's called Shiny Typhlo. Check it out. There's a video on there where I go through my entire, like a 30-second video. I just go through the entire live deck, so you can see it like from Bulbasaur to Eternatus, like the newest one that just came out. Like I got everything.
That's dope. I would have been more down to talk about that, to be honest. But
Yeah, and I also Spencer's.
I kid. So yeah, you guys, you got some podcasts, you got new songs coming out. You got any other plugs?
Any other plugs? We also
Jack just found out he likes butt plugs.
no. We also have this side thing. I'm gonna plug it for Dad's sake.
Our sake,
It's
everyone's sake.
it's all of our sakes, but it's all of our sakes. But to help keep stuff off of our plate, our dad has actually decided to head front underground comics and collectibles. It's
okay.
essentially right now it's just a Facebook page, but
Relax,
we're
bro.
hoping to be able to grow it into an actual storefront where we're gonna buy, sell comics and collectibles and things like that.
Yeah.
So right now I think we have like over 5,000 comics in our possession, and our dad's slowly uploading them to the website.
Oh, so he's gonna help
Wow.
you guys run the website then, and like all the e-commerce and that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's there. You can actually go to undergroundcomicsandcollectibles.com, and I'm sure you can even see a bunch of the stuff he's already got uploaded. And
Yeah.
even if you're interested in any of them, you could probably buy them right now too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. And like right now, it's just right out of our basement. Like our laundry room right now is like half painted, all these cool colors, and has all these like posters and stuff all over it to give like a cool vibe. And it's got a side wall of like CGC graded comics. I actually have Amazing Spider-Man 129, which is the first appearance of Punisher. I've got Amazing Spider-Man number 300, which is the last appearance of the Black Suit and the first appearance of Venom and Eddie Brock.
Are these like rare comics? I don't know much about sort of like
Oh,
the
yeah,
value and rarity of comics and all that.
Yeah, they're rare comics, and
Flexing.
so yeah, I'm flexing it hard. Because those are ones that are my personal ones. Because when we first started this, I had my own personal side collection, so I threw a lot of it in there. And I actually, when I did that, I didn't realize it, but I had a first appearance of Rogue and Uncanny X-Men as well that I ended up sending away to get graded.
How much is one of those worth? Like those ones you just mentioned.
I'm gonna say it was funny because when I picked up the Amazing Spider-Man 300, the Venom one, I bought it and picked it up the day the Venom movie came out. So like I basically picked it up, brought it home, and then went to go see the new Venom movie. And I checked the price beforehand, and it was probably like $500 to $600. And then I checked it the morning after.
Wow.
I checked it the morning after the movie came up, and on eBay it jumped like $100-$200 just because the movie dropped.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's in the public eye. Damn.
exactly. And that a lot of that stuff will happen. Like even the very first Captain Marvel, that one jumped in price too when the movie came out. And another one that I had picked up was Ultimate Fallout number 4, which is the very first appearance of the Miles Morales Spider-Man. And there's a book you can buy. It's called the Overstreet, and it's every single comic ever, and it comes out yearly, and it's like
it's essentially a price guide, and the last year before the Spider-Verse movie came out, which was based around Miles Morales, I think it was like a $50 comic, and then in the newest one, which came out after the movie dropped, that Ultimate Fallout number 4 jumped to probably like $80 to $100.
So like it doubled.
Yeah, it almost doubled in price just because that movie came out.
Yeah.
So when
that's that's when like Miles Morales, like he like is alongside Peter Parker. It's not like a separate dimension, right?
Yeah, and that's like I gotta say that Spider-Verse movie, in my opinion, because Spider-Man's my favorite Marvel character. He's my favorite superhero.
What? No way.
I know, right? He's almost like he's tattooed on my arm. But anyway,
What?
When did that happen?
Try the Spider-Man tattoos first.
the Spider-Verse movie, in my opinion, is the best Spider-Man movie ever. It's fantastic, but like,
Which one?
I don't know. I think Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire was the best.
that's the worst
Yeah,
one.
I completely agree.
But anyway,
I'm being sarcastic.
the way that they told the story is very different than the way it actually happens. Because like in the comic books, Spider-Man finds Miles and takes him under his wing and teaches him. Teaches him kind of the ropes, and the way that they did it in Spider-Verse was going to happen, but then the Spider-Man from Miles' universe dies, and then the actual Spider-Man comes through and ends up teaching him. But the way it actually happens is the original Spider-Man teaches Miles Morales the ropes of how to be Miles, and Miles has different powers and stuff like that because he was bit by a different spider. And
So there's like some dimension hopping going on.
yeah, for sure. I have the big Spider-Verse like compendium comic, and it's 100% a different timeline. There's these things called inheritors that go into different universes and feed off of the spider essence. And
We're gonna go on about this all
yeah,
night.
it's like the actual Spider-Verse comic line is really dark.
Yeah, fair
It's
enough.
nothing like the movie at all.
Oh, that's super interesting. Like, that's you seem like you know like a lot about the lore, and that was a lot of stuff that I had no idea about. Like comics are something like I've always wanted to get into, but it just seems like kind of an expensive hobby. Because like I'm into like Marvel movies. I've played like Spider-Man on PS4. I played like Spider-Man 2 on the GameCube. I'm a bit of a gamer. I like that stuff. But yeah, like it's just the comics have a bit of like a price gate to get into, you know.
What I would recommend,
Yeah,
like,
you can
if
read
are-
every single comic online
Yeah,
without paying
Yeah.
money.
We've sailed the high
And-
seas.
even if you wanted like physical copies, you can get like trade paperbacks or like a bunch of comics and
That's
now going through and reading like the entire original Infinity timeline. But instead of getting like the physical books, I'm just getting like the trade paperbacks.
Yeah, the
$30
actual.
There's
or so.
cheap ways to just at least get into the stories and read about the lore and stuff like that, where you don't need to buy all these expensive ass comics,
Yeah,
which I
fair
think
enough.
is better if you just want to get into it and then eventually down the road be like, yo, I actually want to have that comic. That was my favorite book I ever read. Then you can get
Yeah.
into it that way. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
so-
like buying the vinyl kind of.
exactly.
Yeah. My favorite villain of all time is Mysterio, and I'm like, I want the very first appearance of Mysterio, but that's like a $10,000 comic, and I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice to have, but I'm not gonna go.
Be nice to have 10K.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would be nice to have 10K.
yeah. Well, I'm sure anybody would love to have 10K.
Wow. Well, hey, that's what did you think of Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio in the? Did you see
So,
that
I
movie?
thought it was fantastic. So I said Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man Far From Home is the best live-action Spider-Man movie.
Oh wow. Okay, that's bold.
That's my opinion, because like,
I didn't like it. I'm just gonna be honest.
Call that bold, but you don't think me liking Father of All is bold?
Well, I think both are bold. I don't agree with either, but I think they're both bold.
What's your favorite live-action Spider-Man movie?
Spider-Man 2 was my favorite live-action Spider-Man movie.
I'd maybe go for the OG Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 1.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can
okay.
totally understand that.
I agree with both
For-
of those.
for-
Like, not necessarily being the best, but like being good movies. Yeah.
I gauge my favorite Spider-Man movies not based off of Spider-Man himself, but based off of the villains.
Okay.
The villains to me are the
most important part. And Willem Dafoe, best Green Goblin ever.
Yes, okay, agreed with that one.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
The Doc Ock was fucking. I don't know the actor's name, unfortunately. I forget it, but Doc Ock was fantastic. I love the way that they portrayed him in Spider-Man 2. I feel they really lost it in Spider-Man 3. Sandman was fantastic, but other than that, I was not a fan of Venom, and I was not a fan of Hobgoblin.
It was just cluttered. There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
It was too much.
Mom's cluttered.
It was too much. But for me, the way that they portrayed Mysterio, just visually, was fucking amazing.
They did portray him really well, and Jake Gyllenhaal did a great job. It was more... the like high school like trip story, like I found kind of annoying.
Yeah, that
Where they're like boyfriend and girlfriend like for the vacation. They make all those jokes about that. It's just like,
that to me, a lot of that stuff was kind of filler.
Anime filler.
That
We're back on that.
again, in
Just like Jack was fillered by Sig.
I hope he listens to this.
We'll be sure to interview Sig.
Yeah, get his perspective.
Yeah, with Tom Holland having to play off of the whole Avengers thing, that really clutters a lot of the movie, I find, because it still has to follow in that timeline, right, with everything that happened in Infinity War and whatnot. And when it comes to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, the way he portrays him is, I think, because Tobey Maguire was an amazing Peter Parker, and Andrew Garfield was an amazing Spider-Man.
He's too cool to be Peter Parker.
Because
Yeah,
he was
I completely agree with that.
So like with his witty remarks and as when he's Spider-Man, I thought was better than Tobey Maguire. But then you got to play the Peter Parker end of it. But Tom Holland, I find, is really the perfect blend between the two. But he's supposed to become Spider-Man in like his senior years of high school, not as a grade 10 kid.
But let's just say this though.
Right.
Stan Lee did say Tom Holland was like the ideal Spider-Man
that
which
has to be
is high praise.
And we can all get grumpy
Rip
about
Stanley.
how every Spider-Man is portrayed, but let's be real, with the multi-universe theory, anything is possible.
exactly the Spider-Verse.
Not even the Spider-Verse, multi-universe theory of Marvel.
Yes. And
Anything is possible.
It's funny because they talked about it in Far From Home, which is one thing that I'm like, if they're going to talk about it, again, it's essentially play off to just be kind of bullshit from Mysterio screwing with them. But if they really wanted to make it canon, they 100% could.
Anything is canon, technically.
And then they could bring in Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire back and do like a live action.
And they can use the multiverse theory to sort of like reshuffle the deck if like they want to change things and like retrofit
Just like they did
the
in
universe,
X-Men.
right?
Just like they did in X-Men.
And it's
And
really
in
funny.
And in Deadpool.
And it's really funny is that when you're getting to the comic book canon, the original Spider-Man comes from Earth 616. And that's what Mysterio calls the Earth that they're on is Earth 616.
The same one.
There was the one from the original Spider-Man. So they could really play off of that and kind of dive
When
into
did Mysterio call it that though? Isn't that like an error if like he's referring to that as like the Tobey Maguire world? Like
Tobey Maguire is not the original Spider-Man.
No,
oh
like in the comic, like
okay, so they're calling that like the original world.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tobey Maguire is like my original Spider-Man, so
That's fair.
That's fair.
I'm
That
caught
was
up
the
on the lore.
when I saw in theaters. I saw the very first.
We had
Tobey
action
Maguire.
figures from that movie. Like
Yeah,
we love that Spider-Man.
yeah. And then
The
like,
original cartoon is my Spider-Man.
and if they're getting into the comic canon, then all of a sudden, Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel was not from Earth 616.
Let's not get started on Carol Danvers
Just
and the
trash.
Captain
Yeah,
Marvel.
'cause it was trash.
Yeah, and her role in Infinity War was stupid.
I never watched Captain Marvel. I
didn't either, but it was
that.
The actual Captain Marvel movie, the supporting roles are better than the actual superhero, in my opinion.
So let's not get started on it because like I said, I was going back and reading the original Infinity War after the first Infinity War movie, and I quickly realized the movie is so far from the actual comic book storyline
Well, it always is.
that, yeah, like the Tesseract, the Cosmic Cube, is initially when Captain Marvel is introduced, and by the time you get to the Infinity Gauntlet comic book run, the 5-book run, which is what they're trying to base the movies off of,
Yeah.
it's so far off. Like at that point, Captain Marvel has actually died, and Kaiser has taken his place.
Oh, so then they're not even in the picture. So, like.
And Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel doesn't come around until like the early 2000s.
Shiny!
Josh is
Pop to Shiny.
Squares.
Pokemon. But so Carol Danvers doesn't get introduced into the comic book line into like Civil War Part 2 in like the early 2000s. And
that's supposed to be like the Brie Larson Captain Marvel.
Yeah. But then you get into like I forget the original guy's name, but Rick and Captain Marvel are one and the same, where you clink the bracelets together and then he becomes Captain Marvel. That was like 85, like to the 90s. So
yeah, when they introduced Carol Danvers Captain Marvel, I got excited because I was like, oh my god, they can play off of Civil War 2, which would be fantastic, which is Iron Man versus Captain Marvel. There's this new kid superhero, and his name is
Dickhole.
No,
That sounds accurate.
I want
That's
to say Comet, and like he doesn't know his powers, so Carol wants to arrest him, but then Tony Stark's like he needs to have the freedom to learn his powers and figure himself out, just like we all did, and yeah, but like
but like they're too powerful, right? Like.
Yeah, and like Miles Morales is involved in Civil War 2, and like Deadpool's in there. It's so big, but I was like, you know what? They could really try and touch on it if they could with introducing.
But
you have to get the right actors, and that it's not always possible.
I'm not here to diss like Carol Danvers or anything. Like I'm not mad that they introduced a female Captain Marvel. I'm mad because of where the timelines are and where the comic books are. That version of Captain Marvel isn't necessarily part of the storyline. So for me, I'm looking at it like, okay,
because the timeline's all off.
Yeah, it's all ass
Okay,
backwards.
let's be real here, though. Scott Pilgrim beat up Superman, Captain Marvel, and Captain America.
He did.
Yes, he did.
He did.
So every other superhero sucks.
Scott Pilgrim is the greatest superhero.
Scott Pilgrim is the best.
And what also bothers me is she's not even going by the name Captain Marvel, because in her origin story, the Captain Marvel that she meets Captain Marvel, and then she's just Carol Danvers, Captain Carol Danvers, who are you?
Identity crisis.
That's just you're just supposed to watch the explosions. You're not supposed to overanalyze it.
You're supposed to watch the explosions and Brie Larson in tight pants. That's what you're supposed to watch.
It'd be cool if it was like Michael Cera instead of Brie Larson. I thought that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. I'd watch.
But as like a female Captain Marvel.
Yeah, exactly. So they kind of fill him out a bit, and then sort of awkwardly bumbles into the Endgame war at the end.
Accidentally makes a super bad joke and goes shit. They just decide to keep it in the movie.
Yeah.
But have you guys seen Arrested Development? Because he could come in wearing that strongman suit that he wears the one episode.
If they're gonna make an Arrested Development joke, Star-Lord has to make a joke because it's Chris Pratt.
True. No, Chris Pratt wasn't in Arrested Development.
No, he was in Parks and Rec.
Oh, Parks and Rec. Sorry,
Joe's not good at sitcoms.
I'm not good at sitcoms. I watch Big Bang Theory. Shut up.
I'm not the hugest fan of that show.
I feel like we can't be friends.
It was an okay show. I've watched it.
Yeah, it's alright. It's not bad.
I mean,
There's a few really.
If you watch A Simple Rules, then you'd probably be a big fan of them.
That's bullshit.
You can't.
They're not
Kaylee Cuoco.
Yeah, whatever. You had a really good run with your comic book stuff.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna shut up now. Then. Or we could jump back to comic book stuff. We could bring in the fact that Brie Larson is basically there to combat DC's Wonder Woman.
This is rapidly spiraling way out of control. And I have no idea what any of this is
As
going
soon
to
as you asked about comic books, it was going out of control.
Okay, let
open
me.
the floodgates.
Move on.
Okay, one.
Comics and collectibles.
Okay, one last question, and hopefully this doesn't open more floodgates. But
Oh, you know it will.
yeah, I'm well aware that this is a risk. But so when you're writing the lyrics and stuff, to bring it back to the band, that's what we're here for at the end of the day. Are you influenced at all by this comic, the comic book stuff? Any of these outside interests? Do those percolate at all, or?
Most of my lyrics are written about relationships and how fucked up of a person I think I am. And I wrote one song based on a Family Guy quote, and that was about it.
Okay. That's all I have.
We want to try and get into more stuff, but I just, at the end of the day, like I write lyrics when I'm honest with myself on like issues that I have as a human being or in my brain or based on like so far like ex-girlfriends. I did write a song about a dream I had once that wasn't related to anything, and then Beanies and Plaid Jackets was initiated as a song by our old bass player, so that it's not one we can really take full credit for lyrically.
The Routine too.
The Routine was one of his too. It was about doing the same shit every day. But yeah, stand up. I don't know. It's those are the main things right now.
Well,
I'm trying to get.
Sounds like it's about like a bunch of different sort of influences and events in your life. Like
It'd be cool to
it
have.
doesn't sound like you're writing the same song or like the same topic in a song over and over, right?
Doing our best not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you guys want to replug anything for the end here?
I think
Jack's butt.
Yeah, we're hitting the 1.5 hour, so I think we're gonna wrap it up. I did enjoy talking about Sig, about the band, about Spider-Man. It was a good time. It was nice getting to know you guys. But yeah, feel free to do any
for coming
plugs.
on.
Yeah,
that was
we should definitely connect at a show sometime too and like hang out in person. That'd be cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, once it's ends, I'd be down.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe we'll play your venue when this.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be fucking sweet.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Well, yeah, thanks again for coming on. It was nice to meet you guys virtually.
Yeah, absolutely.
No problem. Anytime you want to have a virtual hang, we're down.
Awesome. And if we do like a Green Day run through and Blink-182 run through, we'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll get around to that eventually.
Electric on Fire, even.
Yeah.
AOF's my shit, so.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Or Foo Fighters or Nirvana.
Hey, if Joe hasn't already said Foo Fighters and Nirvana, Foo Fighters and Nirvana.
That would be a good one too, actually. Yeah, doing either of those would be great.
Yeah.
Or both
Damn.
at the same time.
I bore both together. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the drummer of Nirvana looks really similar to the singer of Foo Fighters, but I don't know. I don't really know.
I could tell you he's the same person.
That's just a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, they're just both greasy band dudes. They just look similar. Yeah.
And anybody who believes they're the same person also believes that the current Avril Lavigne is the original Avril Lavigne. So
I have never heard any of those conspiracy theories.
No, I was a producer kidnapping, of course, and then they switched in a lookalike.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's everyone knows that. That's obvious.
Yeah.
It's the Canadian version of Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
There's no version. They both existed and they both happened. And it's real.
Okay.
And on that note,
aliens exist.
Oh man!
I just want to see what's in their buttholes. You guys seen that little girl?
Okay, they're trying to wrap it up. And we're not helping.
It's fine. I'm going to pitch my theory on sort of what happened to Avril Lavigne, and then I'm going to end the episode immediately. How does that sound?
That sounds great. That sounds really good.
All right. So basically, like after the release of the second Avril Lavigne album, like she got together with Derek Whibley, I believe, and I think that didn't end very well, and I don't think Derek Whibley took it that well. And yeah, he was on a bender and he stumbled in through a window. And you know, some words were said, some stuff happened, and she is not with us anymore. So they found a look-alike, some hair dye, and sort of just sample clips from songs she had in the vault, and they sort of just stitched that together, and that's how like Avril Lavigne, the company, still exists today.
Yeah, exactly. So and that's why she's not really existent anymore.
So you're saying Chad Kroeger wasn't banging Avril Lavigne?
No, Chad Kroeger
he's banging a stand-in, and that's also to sort of obfuscate from what's happened. To distract people.
Yeah. It's real.
You're just banging some like random person, and like one day you realize that's when they got divorced.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh damn, you're not Avril.
Yeah, what is this? What is this? He finds her wig like outside the bathroom or something.
Hannah Montana.
It's some dude named Hugh.
Hugh Levine. It's her.
Yeah. He's like, no, Chad, it's okay.
No, but he keeps doing it because he doesn't want people to find out that he's doing it, so he has to pretend everything's normal.
Oh, man.
All right, well, that was. I think that's a good way to end it.
Just cut it right now.
Yeah. I'm just gonna end the recording now. Bye. All right.